There's a silent battle most of us are fighting, not against an enemy, but against our own lives. It's the quiet, gnawing feeling that things should be different. The job you have isn't the one you were meant for. The city you live in feels like a cage. The people in your orbit, maybe even your family, feel like assignments you never signed up for. And so you push. You resist. You spend your days trying to bend reality, wrestling with what is, in the desperate hope of forcing it to become what you think it should be. It is the most exhausting war you will ever fight, because you are fighting the very fabric of existence. You are pouring your life force into a dam to hold back a river that was always meant to flow. You call it ambition, you call it grit, you call it not settling. But if you're honest, truly honest with yourself in the dead of night, it just feels like being tired. A soul-level tired that no amount of sleep can fix. But what if peace isn't on the other side of winning that fight? What if it's found in the moment you finally decide to stop fighting altogether, not by giving up, but by giving in? Not through weakness, but through a strength so profound the world has forgotten how to teach it. A strength rooted in one of the most transformative ideas ever recorded by a human mind. If this kind of deep dive into wisdom speaks to you, if it helps you breathe a little easier, do me one small, free favor and tap that subscribe button. It helps us grow this community of truth seekers together, one reflection at a time. Let's begin. Part 1: The Prison of a Clenched Fist. We live in an age that worships control. We have been sold the illusion that with the right planner, the right morning routine, the right productivity hack, the right life choices, we can engineer a perfect existence. We act like life is a machine, and if we can just find the right levers to pull, it will deliver whatever we command. So we clench our fists, determined to manage every outcome, predict every setback, and control every variable. But life is not a machine. It's a force of nature. It's a wild, untamable current, and trying to control it is like trying to command the tides. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus knew this 2,000 years ago. He taught that the root of all human suffering comes from a single, simple mistake, confusing what we can control with what we cannot. You can control your thoughts, your judgments, your choices. You cannot control what other people do, what the economy does, how your body ages, or when it rains. The first part of Marcus Aurelius's guidance, "Accept the things to which fate binds you," is a direct echo of this wisdom. Your fate isn't some mystical destiny written in the stars. It is the set of circumstances you did not choose. The family you were born into, the body you inhabit, the era in which you live, the unexpected illness, the sudden loss. These are the things to which you are bound. They are the weather of your life. And trying to fight the weather is not only futile, it's madness. It is a guaranteed path to bitterness and exhaustion. Think of it this way: a sailor does not curse the wind for blowing. A sailor accepts the reality of the wind and with skill and wisdom adjusts the sails. The wind is fate. Your ability to adjust the sails, that is your power. But most of us spend our lives screaming at the wind, wasting all our energy trying to make it blow in the direction we demand. We remain anchored in rage, while the sailor who accepted the wind has already crossed the ocean. The psychologist Carl Jung warned, "What you resist not only persists, but will grow in size." The more you resist your reality, the heavier it becomes. The job you hate doesn't just remain a job, your resistance turns it into a daily torture. The difficult family relationship doesn't just remain a relationship, your resistance turns it into a source of constant poison in your mind. You are not just dealing with the thing itself, you are now carrying the enormous weight of your resistance to it. This is the internal prison we build for ourselves, brick by painful brick. We think our resistance is a sign of strength, a refusal to be beaten. But it's the opposite. It is a surrender of our power. All the energy that could be used to adapt, to find a new way to grow, is instead leaked into a pointless fight with what already is. Accept the things to which fate binds you is therefore not a call to passive resignation. It is a strategic liberation of your energy. It is the moment you stop punching a wall and realize you have the key to a door right next to it. Acceptance is the pivot. It's the deep, centering breath that says, okay, this is the reality. This is the wind that is blowing. Now, how will I set my sails? When you accept, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and you become a student of them. You start asking different questions, not why is this happening to me, but what is this teaching me? Not how can I get rid of this, but how can I grow around this? This is the beginning of real freedom. It is the moment the clenched fist of control finally unclenches, not in defeat, but in a profound act of trust. And when that hand opens, it is finally ready to receive what comes next. Part 2. The Sacred Encounter. Once you have unclenched your fist from the throat of your circumstances, you are faced with a much harder task. Unclenching your heart from the judgment of the people life has placed in your path. The second part of the Emperor's advice is where philosophy meets the messy, beautiful, and often infuriating reality of human connection. And love the people with whom fate brings you together. This is perhaps the most challenging spiritual work there is. It's one thing to accept a situation, it's another to love the people who create it, the demanding boss, the critical parent, the friend who betrayed you, the partner who doesn't understand you. Our modern instinct is to curate our lives and, by extension, our relationships. We swipe left on imperfection. We ghost at the first sign of difficulty. We are taught to believe that somewhere out there is a perfect set of people who will never challenge us, never disappoint us, and never break our hearts. But this is a fantasy. Life does not give us the people we want, it gives us the people we need. And as Socrates taught, the unexamined life is not worth living. The people fate brings us are the curriculum for our self-examination. They are mirrors. The person who irritates you reveals your lack of patience. The person who intimidates you reveals your insecurities. The person you judge reveals the parts of yourself you have yet to accept. They are not obstacles to your peace. They are the pathway to it. To love these people in the Stoic sense does not mean you must feel a gushy, sentimental affection for them. It is not a command to become best friends with your enemies or to tolerate abuse. The Stoics were clear about the importance of boundaries and self-respect. The love Marcus Aurelius speaks of is closer to the Greek concept of agape, a universal, unconditional goodwill. It is a profound recognition of their humanity, a respect for the role they play in the grand, cosmic drama, even if their role in your personal story is a painful one. It is the understanding that they too are fighting a hard battle. They too are bound by their own fate, their own wounds, their own ignorance. To love them is to see them not as monsters, but as flawed human beings doing the best they can with the tools they have. This perspective doesn't excuse their behavior, but it frees you from the poison of your hatred for them. It dissolves resentment, which is the ultimate act of self-love. Aristotle spoke of three kinds of friendship: friendships of utility, friendships of pleasure, and friendships of the good. The first two are transactional and temporary, but the third, a friendship of the good, is based on a mutual respect for each other's character and a shared desire for virtue. This is the highest form of connection. The people fate brings us are all potential catalysts for this kind of growth. They challenge us to become better, more patient, more compassionate, more resilient. When you start to see every person not as an interruption or an obstacle, but as an assignment, your whole world changes. The cashier who is rude to you is an opportunity to practice composure. The family member who pushes your buttons is an opportunity to practice setting clear, calm boundaries. The stranger who shows you unexpected kindness is a reminder of the grace that exists in the world. You realize that you are not here to collect a perfect set of friends and family. You are here to learn, and your teachers are everywhere. Loving them is the act of showing up for class, willing to learn the lesson, no matter how difficult the subject matter. It is a radical acceptance of the human condition in all its flawed glory. It is the understanding that we are all, in the end, just walking each other home. Part 3. The Rebellion of a Full Heart. Here we arrive at the final and most crucial part of the instruction. It is the ingredient that transforms this philosophy from a passive, stoic endurance into a vibrant, active, and deeply meaningful way of life. After telling us to accept our fate and love our people, Marcus adds the game-changing command, but do so with all your heart. This is the rebellion. In a world that encourages detachment, cynicism, and half-hearted irony as defense mechanisms, to choose to engage with your entire being is the ultimate act of courage. Most people don't live with all their heart. They tolerate. They tolerate their jobs waiting for the weekend. They tolerate their relationships scrolling through their phones while in the same room. They tolerate their lives going through the motions, their hearts guarded and their spirits checked out. They accept their fate with a resigned sigh. They love people with polite, surface-level courtesy. Their engagement is a performance, a script they follow to minimize friction. But with all your heart demands more. It asks for your presence, not just your person. It's the difference between hearing a piece of music and feeling it vibrate in your bones. It's the difference between seeing a sunset and being truly awestruck by it. It's the difference between saying, "I love you," and embodying that love in your every action. To accept your fate with all your heart means to stop just enduring it and to start mining it for beauty, meaning, and opportunity. It means that if fate binds you to a simple life, you don't just tolerate the simplicity, you embrace it with the fullness of your being. You find the sacred in the mundane. You discover the profound poetry in a quiet morning, a shared meal, a job done well, no matter how humble. You don't just live your life, you inhabit it. To love the people fate brings you with all your heart means you stop holding back. You offer your genuine attention. You listen not just to respond, but to understand. You allow yourself to be vulnerable. You share your joy and your sorrow without apology. You see the divine spark in the other person, even when they can't see it in themselves. It means that when you are with someone, you are with them fully. Your energy, your focus, your heart, it's all there. This is what makes life rich. Not the absence of hardship, but the presence of your full, authentic engagement with whatever comes. As Plato taught, the unexamined life is a life lived on the surface, half asleep. To engage with all your heart is to be fully awake, fully alive, even when, especially when, life is difficult. This kind of wholeheartedness is terrifying because it means you can get hurt. To love fully means you can be betrayed. To engage fully with your work means you can fail. To embrace your life with your whole heart means you will feel its sorrows just as deeply as its joys. But the Stoics would argue that a life without that risk is not a life at all. It is a ghost life, a shadow existence spent hiding from the very things that make us human. This is the final piece of the puzzle. Without it, the first two can lead to a cold, detached resignation. But with it, they become a formula for a powerful and beautiful existence. You accept what you cannot change, not with a shrug, but with an open and curious heart. You love the people you encounter, not with a sense of duty, but with genuine empathy and presence. You bring the full force of your being to the sliver of reality that is yours to experience. To summarize, this profound piece of wisdom from a Roman emperor is not a passive command to be content. It is an active, three-part strategy for finding meaning in a chaotic world. First, you accept. You stop wasting your precious life force fighting battles you were never going to win. You redirect that energy from resistance to adaptation. This is the path to peace. Second, you love. You see every human encounter as sacred, a lesson, a mirror. You replace judgment and resentment with compassion and connection. This is the path to wisdom. And finally, you do it all with your whole heart. You refuse to live a guarded, cynical, half-lived life. You show up, fully present, fully engaged, turning every circumstance into an art form and every relationship into a masterpiece of attention. This is the path to joy. It is a roadmap for transforming fate from a chain that binds you into a path that guides you. It teaches you that the quality of your life is not determined by your circumstances, but by the quality of the love you bring to them. You cannot always choose your life, but you can always choose how you meet it. And the choice Marcus Aurelius urges us to make is to meet it with open arms and an open, courageous, and undivided heart.